Hey, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I appreciate you meeting with me today, and want to see how you was doing today. So
You're welcome.
I wanted to start off with some questions. I wanted to see, can you tell me some stuff about yourself?
Okay. Well, my name is Alexis Kimbrough. I am a mom. I have three children. I work at Emory University, and I am a research administrator for Winship Cancer Institute. I manage federally funded grants for cancer research, and I enjoy traveling.
Sounds nice. How long you been doing that?
I have been in research now for 9 years.
That's nice. Can you tell me some stuff that you're passionate about?
Travel. I enjoy traveling. I recently started a travel business where I do travel planning. So I thoroughly enjoy assisting individuals as well as groups put together trips around the world, and I like to help them be able to achieve that goal and just experience the world. And I'm also very passionate about family.
How long have you been passionate about traveling? Like, did it hit you?
Well, it really started when I was in college. I went out of the country for the first time as a gift to myself for graduating. And from there, I really enjoyed going out, seeing different parts of the world, and just experiencing different cultures and just seeing how life, varies from place to place, and, just seeing something different from my day to day. So it really, really kind of kick-started after college.
So from hearing all of that, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years from now, I hope to be um, retired as far as from research, but I do hope to be able to just fully work in my travel business and travel the world. In 5 years, I hope to have been able to go to at least 4 or 5 continents.
Can you tell me about a challenging or a conflicting time that you faced at work or that you've dealt with throughout your time?
Um, a challenge or conflict at work. Well, I actually have those daily. Like I indicated, my main my main job is research administration. So I work with a lot of doctors that are everyone is, what they need is priority. So I have to do a lot of just, managing my time and being able to cater to, what everyone needs to be able to meet their goal, because everything is just rush. So one challenge in particular that I face daily is just being able to prioritize and multitask as far as everyone's urgent need, because every physician in their mind, what they need is urgent and it supersedes what the next one needs. So that's probably my biggest challenge, is just being able to make sure that I'm, handling everyone's issues accordingly and being able to get everyone taken care of, because ultimately they are all our customers here in research.
So how do you normally deal with that, on a daily basis? I know that could be really challenging, hard, like you said.
Yeah, it does. I I look at it based on deadline. Um, everyone has a need, so I look at it as, they send me a request. If it's relatively simple, straightforward, then I go ahead and do it. If it's something that's going to be a little bit more time consuming, I always acknowledge, that I received their request, And then if it's something that I know it's going to take a while, I'll ask, is there a time frame that they need this in, or when is it due? And that helps me prioritize other requests that I may have received prior to theirs. If theirs isn't, technically due for another 2 weeks, then I go ahead and work on the ones that have, deadlines that are needing information like today or like tomorrow. And then I'll get to their request. But I always, of course, acknowledge them with a reply to their email or phone call to indicate I did receive your request and it's currently in process. So I just really look at gauge when they need it by truly, instead of, you're emailing me today, but that doesn't necessarily mean you absolutely have to have a response today.
So what do you feel are some great strengths that you have?
I'm a people person, so I think that goes a long way. Half of my battle is knowing how to communicate with people. Um, of course, not everyone is going to be a great communicator, so you just have to kind of know your audience and know how to best articulate to them so that they understand, and that the end goal is you're both getting what you need as far as to be able to meet deadlines, to meet metrics, or goals that you're working towards. So I think one of my greatest strengths is being able to communicate effectively all across an organization.
Can I ask you, how do you handle breaks in routines, interruptions, and last minute changes in particular?
Breaks, interruptions. I'm sorry, you said last minute changes in routine?
Yeah, and last minute changes that can in routines and everything, or just in in your job in general, like something comes up and interrupts something that you have planned or something like that. What do you normally do to handle those situations?
Well, for one thing, I know for me, as far as like with emails, for instance, when emails pop up, I always get like, notifications and so forth. But what I try to do, if it's something that I'm specifically working on, I try to finish that before I even open up the next, email right away. Like just because it pops up right in front of me doesn't mean I have to specifically open it. Now, if it does come across as like a high importance, then I will take a pause on what I'm doing to, see exactly what it is. But I really try to go ahead and work on what's in front of me before I, go ahead with opening up something else, because then that will delay me working on what I was working on, and then putting an email or, an instant message or whatever it is, and it'll really throw off your day. So what I try to do is just kind of focus on what's in front of me, and if it's urgent, then I'll try to come to a good stopping point with it to be able to see what it is that's urgent, and then prioritize as far as the level of urgency. But I typically try to just work on what I'm currently working on, and I keep lists as well. I'm a note taker. So, I try to work in the order that I receive things, the order that they're due. And if, like I said, if something pops up, I look to see, is it urgent? If it's not, then it'll wait till I get through with what I'm doing.
Okay. So have you ever recognized the problem or opportunity before anyone else?
Yes.
Whether that's in the workplace, and what happened?
So, in a previous position that I held, um, I was new to the organization. So of course, coming in, you come in with a fresh set of eyes. So there was a process that they were doing that, as I was going through training and they were explaining to me, at first I didn't speak on it because I wanted to get the full view of why it was being done that way. And then once I kind of got in a little bit and actually started working that process, and I just kind of asked my director at the time, you know, why is it that it was being done this way? Was there something that, may have caused it to make it more beneficial? because, I gave her a suggestion as to, how I thought it could be more more productive, not only for the process but for the team, as well as more efficient. And when I told her, my suggestion, she was like, that does make a lot more sense. Now that you mention it, I think we should start doing it that way. So I was able to get a process that was very tedious um, changed, and it was able, the team really appreciated it. And and a lot of it was because they had just been doing it for so long, doing it the same way, and that's just how they did it. And with coming in and having experience from other organizations, and just not seeing um how that was efficient, I was able to assist in helping get a process and procedure change for the flow of the team.
Um, can I ask you, what is the biggest mistake you've ever made in your career? And what steps have you taken to ensure it doesn't happen again?
um I think I could say the biggest mistake is choosing a position for money. And from that, I was unhappy. And I learned a very valuable lesson that money definitely does not make you happy. You have to be able to find some level of enjoyment in what it is that you're doing. And if you don't, then you don't need to be doing it. So the lesson that I learned was follow your heart. It may not always lead you to the biggest books in the beginning, but if you do what makes you happy, money will come.
How long did it take you to realize that for yourself? Like,
It took a few. It took a few. It was actually, you know, two or three positions that I had taken, and I didn't enjoy any of them. And so it was kind of, in total, it was maybe about 4 or 5 years that I was just like going from job to job because I wasn't happy. And I was, like I said, I was looking at the dollar aspect of it. And in the end, I was never satisfied. You know, the check is one thing, but getting up every day doing something that you don't enjoy, it's not worth the money when it comes in, if it's not something that truly makes you happy. So it took me probably, I would say, about maybe 4 to 5 years to learn that.
what kind of pressure do you feel at your job? How do you cope with them? What frustrates you the most about it?
Um, well, one thing that does frustrate me is people being inconsiderate of your time. Um, one of the things that I constantly work with is deadlines, and proposals have deadlines that we have to meet, as far as with reporting and just financial deadlines and things of that nature. And then you have people that don't have to work under the same time constraints as you, and they send you things, and they're wanting things, but they're not taking in consideration the time that it takes. And when you're someone that prefers quality in your work over quantity, that's a problem, because you're trying to give 100% to everything that you do, and you have people that don't value that. They just, they send you stuff that may have been due yesterday, but they want it today, and not taking into consideration the things that you may have already had planned to do for the day, that have deadlines as well. So um, how I manage it is just, I've come to realize that I'm one person, and all I can do is what I could do during the course of a day. So I don't let it stress me like I used to. I don't let it overwhelm me. I just do what I do, and I keep my paper trail um, for instances where things may come up, and it's like, well, I sent this to you, and and I keep my paper trail to show, yeah, you did, but you sent it on this day, and it was actually due you know, back on this day. So I didn't even get it in time, to be able to get it done. So I just, and just it's just always about communicating and just being able to, speak up for yourself and just do your best. And that will speak volumes for you throughout your career.
And can you also tell me about an occasion when your schedule was upset by unforeseeable circumstances, and what did you do?
Um, Well, I guess one of the largest schedule changes that we've had was trying to prepare for, when COVID came about. Um, we had so many, that was something that was unprecedented. It was no way to prepare for it. We literally got an email, saying we were going to be remote. Originally, it was supposed to be for 2 weeks. And so we were putting things in place to be able to work from home for just those 2 weeks. And then, it was a wrench thrown in when the kids' schools went remote as well. So just trying to be able to balance working from home and then distance learning, which is, what they called when the kids were working, going to school from home. And just being able to find balance, that was, I think, was the hardest thing. And then after those couple of weeks went by, and then it was, well, we're going to be home, longer than the 2 weeks. We're not sure when it'll come back. So just being able to adjust to all of that, I think more than anything disrupted the schedule more than anything. But it was just all about being resilient and just being able to be flexible and being able to adjust to do the best that you can during, uncertain times.
Do you feel like you still are dealing with that as of right now? Is it still a challenge for you? You know, has it improved for you in any way? And how do you feel like it will go moving forward? Dealing with all that, especially with COVID, how it's going so far.
Well, as far as the working from home aspect, no, I don't see it as a challenge now because I've adjusted. I've been home now since March of 2020. And like I said, initially it was, how do I do this? How do I do that? Are we going to do this? But then the wonderful world of Zoom came, forefront. So meetings are now via Zoom. Um, we have the lovely instant messaging feature. If you just like, if we were in the office and you just want to go around and ask a quick question real quick, now we have instant messaging. Email has always been here. But I think everyone has just had to learn to adjust to the world of everything being virtual. And it's actually, I actually enjoy it a lot more now. At first it was a little frustrating just trying to figure out how to move everything from what was supposed to be in person to doing a Zoom meeting, certain applications that we needed, that we had in the office. Now, we all have access to at home and all of that. So it took a organizational shift, and it also changed the culture and the mindset of, a lot of organizations that didn't consider working from home an option, and now that's all that they have. So now we are fully remote. They were not, they've decided not to bring us back in the office. We've been very productive, all of this time. So it's been a great adjustment. So I have no complaints at all about being able to work from home. I save so much time as far as not having to sit in traffic, with, maintenance on my vehicle, and just my quality of life, I feel, is so much better because I don't have to get up super early to try to beat the traffic, and getting home late in the evening, I'm able to have more time with my family and all of that, all in the course of a day. So I really enjoy the work-life balance that I get from working from home.
What's some advice you feel like you can give to somebody, regardless of the stuff that that's similar to you as far as what they may be going through, or challenges that they may be facing just because of COVID, and or maybe going through some frustrating stuff at work, like similar to how you're going through, and things of that nature, or moms that are trying to adapt, especially with COVID, and worrying about their kids, you know, being out there in the world and everything. What's some advice you could give to some people like that?
From a work standpoint, do you mean like for those that are working from home, or those that, actually have to go into the work, into the buildings at work?
I would say either or, which either or.
Okay. So definitely for those that are working from home, like I said, for me it was an adjustment, just getting acclimated to being able to do everything that I need to do from home. So if those that are struggling from that aspect, I would definitely tell them to utilize their resources, their leadership. Hopefully they have support from that standpoint, because that makes a world of difference. Ask for help, and don't, even though we're remote, a lot of people may feel a sense of disconnection from the rest of their teams or their colleagues, but you have to create experiences, like we don't have, of course, in office staff meetings right now, because of the pandemic, we work from home. But what we try to do is when we get together as a team monthly, for our monthly meeting over Zoom, we try to incorporate a little fun in it. It's not just all business. We try to take maybe the first 15 minutes or so to do an icebreaker, just to kind of um, laugh a little, and just lighten the mood. A lot of people are going through a lot of different things, whether it's loss of family, loss of jobs, just it's just so many different variables going on right now with COVID. So sometimes it helps to lighten the mood, and laughter is always good for the soul, regardless of what the circumstance is. Everyone needs a good laugh every now and then, every day. And so, we just try to lighten it by doing a little 15-20 minute icebreaker, just to make you laugh and, just have a good time. You have to, find those moments. And if they're not there, you have to learn to create them for yourself. For those that are in the workplace, that, it's difficult, you're out there, you're, especially those in healthcare, they're on the front line, they're working with COVID patients daily. Um, I would, it's harder, it's easier said than done, because I'm not out there like that. But, I just always, I can't do anything else without God. So I just advise them to, to stay prayed. Um, and if that's not, the best situation for you, for your family, there are a lot of jobs now that, are going fully remote. So, maybe they can look into finding something that will give them that flexibility. And if they can't, if it's just something that that they have to do, just, keep going, know that it's for, think about your why, think about your purpose, what gets you up each day to go and do that job. If it's for you, it's for your family, and just keep that on your forefront as you go through your day. For those that are struggling, or maybe doing the homeschool, that is truly difficult. I have two children that are school age, and working with them last year while they were fully remote, it was a challenge. So I definitely can say from that standpoint, I have experienced that. And they are back in school now, and I pray over my children. I know that they're going to get the best opportunity to learn in school. And, I make sure they wear their mask. I make sure they have their sanitizer. Thankfully, the school is really on top of that, making sure these kids are keeping on their masks during the day. And I just ask God to cover my kids. The time that they were home, I did everything that I could to make sure that they were getting what they needed. but there's no place like being in the actual school building, to have those resources, to have the teachers that are trained to educate, um, to assist them. So, they, for me, I was glad that mine are able to go back to school. But, I also just make sure, we follow all the protocols and everything that's in place. And, so far so good. So just continue it, just keep at it. Hopefully, we'll get back to a day and time where, COVID is a thing of the past, and, life can resume some form of normalcy, what it used to be, pre-COVID. But until then, we have to do what we have to do to make it.
Thank you. I really appreciate that words of advice. I'm pretty sure a lot of people can learn a lot from that. I thank you for taking the time out your day to talk to me. And I appreciate all the responses that you've given me today. I really appreciate that. Do you have any other questions or anything?
No, not at this time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.